Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud of the President for speaking directly to the American people on immigration last night in a town hall on Telemundo and on MSNBC. He was very clear that he will comply with the dictates of the judicial branch, even as he fights a federal judge's temporary injunction in the courts, and he's prepared to appeal those rulings all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. The President will follow the law as he has been doing and comply with the injunction. But let me be clear to my Republican friends and to the American families impacted for now by the court's action. Nothing about the injunction compels the President to deport anyone he has identified as a low priority for enforcement. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, how many symbolic votes are held in Congress, or how many federal agencies are shut down, there is nothing the Republican Party can do to force the President of the United States to deport dreamers or go after the parents of U.S. citizens if they have no criminal record and have lived here for a while. And the Republicans know there is nothing they can do to force the President to deport 5 million people that he has said he is going to protect. Nothing. For years, Congress has only provided enough funding to deport 4% of the total undocumented population, or 400,000 people a year. Clearly, we here in Congress know that only a small percentage of people will be targeted because of the limited enforcement resources, because that is the law that we here in Congress made. For all the talk about a rogue or imperial president, he is actually doing the job we asked him to do, to spend the limited enforcement resources we appropriated on doing what? Protecting the homeland by deporting the worst of the worst. Not on dreamers, not on the parents of U.S. citizens who have strong ties to this country and decades with no criminal background. And the DACA program for dreamers announced in 2012, that is still in place, and renewals are happening right now as we speak. 640,000 strong. So under the enforcement priorities and under DACA program, it is clear to me, and I want to make it clear to everyone at home, that the President has no plans to deport dreamers or the parents of U.S. citizens who have never been involved in crime. Now, I know firsthand about numerous efforts to negotiate across the aisle that the majority of our country and the majority of the Republican Party would like to have a functioning legal immigration system. But the impression the Republican Party is leaving with the American people, the only solution Republicans are offering is that they demand the deportation of dreamers and the deportation of parents of 5 million American citizens who would be protected and continue to be protected under the President's executive actions. That is what my colleagues fail to appreciate when they stand alongside hardliners and opponents of legal immigration in their zeal to support non-citizens. Republicans are hurting themselves with citizens. In my district in Chicago, just like the rest of the country, there is no caste system where people who were born in the U.S. never mix up with people who weren't born here. There's no difference between the people who came with a visa, the people who overstayed a visa, the people who never had a visa to begin with, and the people who were born U.S. citizens. When we celebrate the 4th of July or Thanksgiving, believe it or not, we all sit at the same table. The undocumented are part of our families, they live in our neighborhoods, attend our churches, and are in classrooms with our children. What the Republican Party fails to see is that when they call for the deportation of dreamers and long-term residents, they're calling for the deportation of our family members, our neighbors, and my children's classmates. Don't forget, most Latinos in America are not immigrants, but U.S. citizens. So it should come as no surprise that when 1 million or so Latino U.S. citizens turn 18 this year, they will not think fondly of the Republican Party, the party that is bent on deporting members of their families and their communities. Another statistic, 93% of Latinos under the age of 18 are U.S. citizens. 93% of them are U.S. citizens. They will not have a warm and fuzzy feeling about the party that fought tooth and nail to throw out their moms and dads. And 5 million U.S. citizens whose parents are undocumented, who worry every day about whether their families will remain intact, they are going to remember which party was cruel to their moms and their dads, using them as scapegoats and insinuating that they were all criminals bringing diseases to this country. The Republican Party's goal of forcing the President to deport all the non-citizens they want deported will simply never be achieved until the Republican Party elects one of their own to the White House. And the strategy of the Republican Party, forcing this President to deport all the non-citizens they want deported, pretty much guarantees that one of their own isn't going to get to the White House anytime soon.